Hello, this is the first virtual public presentation for the Northwest Tyler Street Reconstruction Project. This will be the first of at least 3 public presentations throughout the course of the project. In this presentation, I will outline the scope and purpose of the project, provide a discussion of the 3 design concepts developed for the project, and the recommendations for the upcoming design phase. The second public meeting is planned for 2021, when the design of the project is essentially complete and we have more specific information on the utility and property impacts. The third public meeting is planned for the spring of 2022, when the project has been awarded to a contractor and a specific construction sequence for each phase has been determined. The city has selected SPB Engineering to complete the project planning and design work for the city. I'm Brian Austin, and I will be the project manager for SPB Engineering. The project manager for the City of Topeka Engineering Department is Linda Voss. David Bevins is the Community Education Manager for the city. You may contact any of us with questions, ideas, or comments about the project. The project scope includes the reconstruction of Northwest Tyler Street from Paramore Street to Lyman Road, and it will be completed in 2 phases. Project planning and design is occurring in 2020. Final design and utility relocation will occur in 2021, and Phase 1, Lyman Road to Beverly, will be constructed in 2022. Phase 2, Northwest Beverly Street to Northwest Paramore, is planned to occur in 2025. So why Northwest Tyler Street? Well, the local desire for improvements to Tyler Street have been around for quite some time. The City of Topeka Planning Department conducted a neighborhood plan for the North Topeka West neighborhood that identified the reconstruction of Northwest Tyler Street as a priority. The Topeka City Council adopted this plan on February 26, 2016. The goal noted in the plan was to provide infrastructure improvements to the North Topeka West neighborhood that demonstrate vitality and commitment to the continued improvements in the quality of life for the residents. The plan also noted that improvements to Northwest Tyler Street were a high priority and should be implemented as soon as funding is secured. What will the project include? The neighborhood plan identified some guiding principles for the project. These principles include creating a pedestrian corridor using complete streets principles, increasing capacity to support future development, make parks and trails more visible, accessible, and kid-friendly, eliminate ditches and add curb and gutter, create pedestrian streetscapes and connect to amenities, reduce truck traffic, lower vehicle speeds, and use appropriate street width. In order to ensure the guiding principles from the neighborhood plan were incorporated into the project in the most practical and cost-efficient manner, the City of Topeka tasked SPB Engineering to develop 3 concept plans for the corridor. The first concept's focus was to develop a design that focused on low-impact development. The second concept's focus was to develop a 3-lane standard typical section for the City of Topeka that improved safety and roadway capacity by adding a center turn lane. The third concept was to develop a 2-lane standard typical section that focused on limiting the project's footprint, reducing utility impacts, and limiting vehicle speeds. The pedestrian and bicycle improvements for the corridor were the same for all the concepts, and they will be discussed later in this presentation. Concept 1 focused on low-impact design to reduce the amount of stormwater runoff, take advantage of the site's high permeability soils, and improve stormwater quality runoff through low-impact design and stormwater best management practices such as vegetated bioswales. In order to do this, a 3-lane section was conceptually designed with roadside swales between the proposed back curb and sidewalk. Curb flumes would convey stormwater runoff to the roadside swales behind the back of curb. This approach would increase infiltration and reduce stormwater runoff. The image on the left is an example of a similar approach on Southeast 45th Street, west of Paroka Road. Here you can see the mild slopes of the drainage swales. The picture on the right is of Southwest Jackson Street, just north of the Capitol building. This project included more landscaping, but also results in higher maintenance costs for the property owners and the city. In conjunction with this approach, this concept also included using underground open-bottom storm chambers instead of storm sewer pipe to allow for additional infiltration of storm water. The storm chambers would also be able to convey the higher volume design flows similar to conventional storm sewer pipe. While this concept would satisfy the focus of reducing stormwater flow and improving stormwater quality, this concept was not chosen to move forward with. There were a number of disadvantages to this concept that limited the benefit it provided. 1. Although the roadside swales would have mild side slopes and would be able to be mowed with any push or riding lawnmower, they may appear to some residents as ditches, which was specifically requested to be removed in the neighborhood plan. 2. The roadside swales would require about 10 feet more of width on each side of the road than a standard 3-lane typical section. This additional width would impact more utilities, require more right-of-way acquisition, and remove more existing trees than either of the other two concepts. You can see from the image below, I've placed red X's by all the trees that would have to be removed with this section. It would essentially remove 90% of the trees between the homes on the corridor. And 3, the presence of roadside swales on both sides of the street would require more area inlets than a street with standard curb inlets. This would result in having parallel storm sewer systems on both sides of the street and would more than offset the cost savings from a smaller storm sewer system. In addition to the disadvantages mentioned, there is also a downstream detention and water quality improvements in place at the Garfield wetlands. This downstream detention and water quality feature reduces the benefit of any water quality improvements made in conjunction with this project. Concept 2 is a standard 3-lane typical street section. An example of this improvement is Northwest 46th Street between Topeka Boulevard and Rochester Road. Northwest Tyler Street has 54 driveways and intersections between Paramore and Lyman. This is a high driveway frequency and one that would typically result in the construction of a center turn lane to improve roadway capacity. SBB Engineering and the City of Topeka engineering staff reviewed the 5-year crash history on Northwest Tyler Street during the planning phase. Although there were 14 crashes within the past 5 years, none of these crashes would have been preventable with a center turn lane. In addition, a traffic count showed that daily traffic is only about 4,000 vehicles per day. Common practice is to start considering a 3-lane section when there's a high number of turning maneuvers and the daily traffic approaches 8,000 vehicles per day. Since the vehicle traffic and crash data did not show that a 3rd lane would result in a significant safety or capacity improvement, this concept was not chosen as the design alternative. Concept 3, which is the concept chosen to move forward with, is a standard 2-lane road section with curb and gutter, sidewalks, and storm sewer. A benefit of this concept is that it may allow the 17-year-old 8-inch water line on the east side of Tyler to remain in place, while the other two concepts would have likely required that it be replaced. The cost savings from not constructing a center turn lane is approximately $350,000. Concept 3 also has the following advantages. 1. Drivers will feel less comfortable driving at higher speeds on a narrower roadway than a wide one, resulting in lower average vehicle speeds on a 2-lane road. This is consistent with the desires of the neighborhood plan. 2. Pedestrian safety will be improved by providing shorter crossing distances, reducing the amount of time pedestrians are in the street. 3. Less right-of-way will be required, resulting in fewer utility impacts and fewer trees being removed from the project. 4. A 2-lane road will have less impervious area, and this will result in lower stormwater runoff. Complete streets design. The project will include 2 5-foot sidewalks that will be on both sides of the road. This improvement will provide pedestrian accessibility in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act along the entirety of the improved route. Bicycle improvement is also planned as part of the project. The proposed improvement is to construct a 10-foot wide concrete shared use path from the intersection of Tyler and Waddell to the Soldier Creek Trail in the vicinity of the Curtis Family Cemetery. This trail will be constructed on City of Topeka property and will not require any additional easements or right-of-way. Bike lanes or a shared use path are not planned to be a part of the Tyler Street right-of-way for a number of reasons. 1. Parallel routes exist on either side of Tyler Street that provide reasonable accommodations for bicycle traffic. The routes include the Soldier Creek Trail approximately 700 feet east of Tyler and Northwest Polk Street approximately 200 feet west of Tyler. While Northwest Polk Street isn't a designated bike route, it's less than 500 vehicles per day and is a safe route for any level of rider. 2. Northwest Tyler Street is not listed as a bike route in the Topeka Bikeways Master Plan. With Soldier Creek Trail being in close proximity to the project, the money saved on this project can be allocated to completing other routes in the Topeka Bikeways Master Plan. 3. With traffic volumes under 4,000 vehicles per day, the vehicle traffic is low enough that experienced and confident riders can ride in the street and less experienced or non-confident riders can use the sidewalks. Summary and recommendations. The design concept proposed is Concept 3, which is a 2-lane road with curb and gutter, storm sewer, and 5-foot concrete sidewalks on both sides of the road. This concept was chosen because the existing traffic, projected traffic growth, and 5-year crash data do not show a significant capacity or safety benefit by adding a 3rd lane. A 2-lane road section will also likely result in lower vehicle speeds, shorten the crossing distance for pedestrians, and save approximately $350,000 in construction cost. While requiring additional evaluation, a 2-lane road may also save city taxpayers money on waterline replacement costs. A 2-lane road will result in less impervious pavement than the other 2 options, which will reduce stormwater runoff. A 2-lane section will also require less right-of-way and easement acquisition, result in fewer utility impacts, and reduce the number of existing trees that need to be removed. Bicycle accommodations will be provided by connecting the Soldier Creek Trail to Tyler Street with a 10-foot shared use path. Next steps. Now that the design concept has been recommended, the design and utility coordination work on the project will begin. The next public presentation will occur near the end of the design phase in 2021 when more specific information about property and utility impacts are known. A comment form is available on the link provided to provide feedback or comments on the project. You may also contact David, Linda, or myself at the contact information listed on this sheet. Thank you for the interest in the project, and we look forward to completing this street improvement project for you.